Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to today's Friday Forum at the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Ralph Delarada, and I have the pleasure of presiding over the City Club this year. The City Club of Cleveland was originally established in 1912, and it was established to encourage new ideas and exchange thought and speech. We are indeed the oldest continuous public speaking forum in this great nation. We have a long and storied tradition of free speech exercised through public debate and open discussion. Today, the City Club is an organization where its diverse members participate in wide-ranging, high-quality forums, as well as, I'm happy to say, enjoy great camaraderie. We are a civic center where the Cleveland community comes together each week to encounter and challenge important ideas. And lastly, we're an electronic forum, open not only to our nation, but to the world as a whole. In this era of rapidly changing technology, society's notions of privacy are constantly evolving and often disparate. Such issues have come to the forefront in recent years with electronic surveillance programs commenced by the Bush administration in the name of national defense and anti-terrorism. Our speaker today has been a leading voice in favor of privacy and happily free speech. She has taken presidential administrations and billion-dollar telecommunications companies head-on in this struggle over what personal information should be private and what should be turned over to our national security departments. Our speaker is Cindy Cohn, the Legal Director and General Counsel for the Electronic Frontier Foundation, also known as EFF. The EFF was founded in 1990 and has since sought to defend free speech, privacy, innovation, and consumer rights in an age of constantly evolving and societal transformation, while empowering citizens as speakers, creators, and consumers. The EFF is involved in educational outreach to the press and to the public, as well as this organization has achieved victories on behalf of consumers and the general public through its Action Center. As Legal Director and General Counsel, Ms. Cohn is responsible for overseeing the EFF's overall legal strategy and supervising its 9 staff attorneys. Her extensive experience includes class action lawsuits against AT&T and Sony BMG for wiretapping and invasive use of copy protection, respectively. She also fought to uphold the rights of electronic free speech and republishing in OPG versus Diebold and DVD CCA versus Booner. Recently, Ms. Cohn has even turned up the heat on President Obama by claiming that his attempts to conceal evidence regarding the National Security Agency's surveillance of its citizens, there's a sort of disdain for the rule of law and the role of the courts that he campaigned against. Outside of the courtroom, Ms. Cohn has testified before Congress and has been featured in the New York Times, the San Francisco Chronicle, and elsewhere for her work on cyberspace issues. National news networks and periodicals include the BBC, NPR, CNN, CBS News, Frontline, and the NewsHour, The Economist, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, Newsweek, and many, many others I don't have time to articulate today. Many media outlets have interviewed her and carried her message to an audience of millions. Ms. Cohn has been recognized as one of the 50 most influential women lawyers in America and one of the 100 most influential lawyers in America by the National Law Journal. She was additionally named one of the Lawyers of the Year by California Lawyer magazine and honored along with the EFF by the editorial board of the Daily Journal. Ms. Cohn currently serves on the board of directors of the Human Rights Advocates and the Verified Voting Foundation, which are 2 not-for-profit groups. She studied as an undergraduate, she's very proud of this, at the University of Iowa and the London School of Economics, and went on to receive her law degree from the University of Michigan. Prior to joining the EFF in 1995, she worked at the United Nations Center for Human Rights in Geneva, Switzerland, and spent 10 years as a civil litigator in private practice handling technology-related cases. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a distinct pleasure for me to introduce this widely respected public advocate for human rights and free speech. Please join me in welcoming Cindy Cohn to the City Club of Cleveland.
Well, thank you very much. It is a great honor to be asked to speak at the Cleveland City Club. These addresses actually run on my local radio station in San Francisco, and I listen to them often, and I can't tell you what an honor it is to get to be one of the speakers and to this august group. I also want to thank the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association for inviting me here today. What I'd like to do today is talk about the warrantless domestic wiretapping program that I have been engaged in trying to bring to light and bring to justice for the last 4 years. And I'm going to do several things, and I'm going to ask you to bear with me because I'm going to teach you a little bit about technology. If you're a technologist, I'm going to teach you a little bit about law. Both of them will be somewhat painful, but I promise to keep it a little short. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are with the litigation and the machinations that we've undergone due to the hands of our U.S. Congress. I'm going to give you a little update on where President Obama is. As my introducer indicated, it's not good. At least the early signs. And then I'd like to explain a little bit why I think all of this matters and bring us back to the reasons we're here on Law Day today. So it's somewhat ambitious. I'll do my best to do it in the time frame. So first, a little bit of kind of background. There are several different kinds of surveillance that have been discussed under the rubric of warrantless wiretapping or warrantless government surveillance or the president's program of surveillance. And it's important to kind of keep them separate as we think about things, because I think much of the public debate has been confused somewhat intentionally by some folks by mishing these three ideas together. The first kind is the kind that you're probably most familiar with, and that is targeted surveillance. This is what the president admitted. He said, President Bush in 2005 said, if you're talking to a member of al-Qaeda, we want to be listening. This is targeted surveillance. And what the president admitted in 2005 is that he was doing targeted surveillance of people who were believed to be communicating with people who were believed to be involved in terrorist activity without a warrant. And that was what the first set of hoopla was about, starting from a December 16th, 2005 New York Times article, and then the president shortly after that admitting it. That's one kind of surveillance, targeted surveillance. The second kind of surveillance that you may have heard about is data mining or stored communication record surveillance. And this is an allegation that was first released in May of 2006, about 6 months after. Actually, it was earlier, but it broke in USA Today in May of 2006. And this is the allegation that the records that your telecommunications company store about you were being made freely available to the National Security Agency and perhaps other government agencies. Stored records are different in the law than communications on a wire that are moving forward. And the stored communications that they're talking about are essentially the records that your phone company uses to give you your bill. So they're often called CDRs as well. This is who you call, the number you call, the numbers who call you, the length of the communication. This information is stored by the phone company. It's how they give your bills. They also store, similarly, your ISP, your internet service provider, will store similar information. They just don't bill you on a per email basis, but they have the same information that they keep in their logging files, which is who emails you, emails back. This information for your email will also include the subject line, which can reveal a lot about the content of your messages, date, time, size, whether there are any attachments, the kind of stuff that you see maybe in the headers of your emails if you look at them. Your ISP also can store and log information about your web surfing activity.